You know, Phil, you and I have been in what got to be hundreds of factories over the years, right? And most of the time we ask people in the factories, what is their uptime? What percentage of the time is their lines running? And I think they usually tell us something like 85%.
Right.
And what do you think reality is?
Probably if they're getting anywhere close to 30%, they're doing all right.
Yeah, and that's kind of my sense too. If you're doing 30%, that's about as good as it gets, and that surprises people.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of the reasons why people aren't getting better uptime?
Well, first of all, I think one of the things is they're basing that 85%. Where did that number come from?
Yeah.
And essentially that's machine availability time.
Yeah, the machines are available.
The machines are available, and if they were running continuous and nonstop, in the ideal world, and with perpetual motion and everything else, they might get close to that. But and that's a nice figure that the machine manufacturers. And yes, I would expect machine to have an availability time of 85 to 90%.
Right.
But reality is that there's lots of interruptions.
Right.
It doesn't make that a continuous flow process.
Well, what do you think is the biggest interruption?
Oh, I think one of the biggest is setups.
Setups, yeah. Setups take a lot of time. Going from one job to another.
Right, and of course in a high mix situation it becomes even more profound.
Yeah, and I think replenishing the feeders on the pick and place machines, they're constantly doing that.
Right.
And that takes a lot of time. What are some of the other ones?
Well, we look at the printer, certainly replenishing solder paste.
Yeah.
If it's not done automatically, and then of course the solder paste response to pause.
And that's something a lot of people don't think about. That's a really important solder paste metric, response to pause, because if you have to stop the line for a few minutes, and this happens probably several times a day, if that solder paste stiffens up, then you've got to print a board or two that you just wipe clean, because the first couple of prints won't be good because it has poor response to pause. So that's a critical solder paste metric, I think, that some people don't think about.
Right. And then of course we have the human factors. I mean, if the machines are running automatically, and we've seen lines where actually, I can recall seeing a line a couple of years ago, they were running 50% true uptime because it was a highly automatic line, high volume, almost no mix, and they got it. But you have the human factor in things like changeover. And let's talk about, human other things. Let's talk about lunch.
Well, yeah, you remember, probably you've heard me talk about this place where they claimed they only had a half an hour for lunch.
Right.
But yet the operators wanted to make sure that they didn't miss lunch, so they turned the line off about 20 minutes early. Then they went to the half an hour lunch, which was really 40 minutes.
Right.
And then they came back and it took them a half an hour to get the line going again. And I measured it. The line was down for 90 minutes every lunch hour.
Yep. Invisible time.
So what do you think? What's a way to address this problem of poor uptime?
Well, first of all, I think you have to be conscious of it, and that's from management on down. And I guess for lack of a better word, you have to have a passion for it.
Yeah, I once remembered I was at a facility where when the line was down, operators would send a note to their boss, and he would send a note to his boss. And this happened like a couple of times. I was there for a week, and it was like 9 in the morning, the line would be down. I come back at 2 in the afternoon, the line's still down. And they had an escalation policy, but it stopped at some boss that was so busy he wasn't checking his email. And we told him, if the line is down for more than 45 minutes, the site general manager needs to know, because it's that important, because as you and I have discussed, it's the only thing that is making money for your company is a line running. It's like a printing press for paper money. If the press isn't running, you're not producing.
And that's one of my favorite analogies that you've done. Yeah, exactly.
And I think one of the things too is, we've mentioned setups, we've mentioned replenishing times, we've mentioned for the feeders, we've mentioned replenishing the solder paste, and worried about response to pause. But I think it's so important for your line to be running. That's what's making money. That really, the responsible people in a company, the process engineers and the managers, should have a continuous improvement plan where they're addressing and measuring each of these metrics to make sure that they have a good uptime. And I think you and I agree on this. If you really pay attention to it, it is possible to approach like 50% uptime. I've covered these topics in my book, The Adventures of Patty and the Professor, which can be found at indium.com. And if anybody has any questions about this topic, please contact me at rlasky@indium.com. Phil, this has been really a great discussion. Let's do it again sometime.
Thank you, Ron.